Hello, friends. Welcome to DNF Diaries. Every other week, we bring you a wonderfully entertaining, low stakes, absolutely no shame story of a DNF in the ultramarathon, sub-ultra, FKT, or through hike world. For those that are not familiar, DNF stands for Did Not Fry. Just kidding. I freaking love fried food. And it actually stands for Did Not Finish. Please send us your DNF stories to our email account, dnfconfessions@gmail.com. If you have an interesting story about DNFing, every story about DNFing is interesting. Every single one of them is interesting. We don't want you to quit things, but we do want to hear about it when you do. Please send us your stories. The more detail, the better. We'll keep all stories and people anonymous if you so choose. We may reach out to get more details, so don't be surprised if you get an email back with some questions. And a big thank you for your story as well.
Yeah.
So without further ado, my name is Arlee Hiskey, and here with me today is the wonderful, the only...
Tara Dower. Wah, 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 wah. Otherwise known as Candy Mama. I was introducing myself by my trail name this weekend. Arlee, what's your trail name?
Margaritaville, baby.
Whoa. Why?
I did my first through hike in a Hawaiian shirt. It was the long trail. Well, I guess I had hiked a big fat section of the AT before, but I didn't really get a trail name there. And then when I was on the long trail, I was wearing a Hawaiian shirt. And because I saw it on Instagram, thought it was cool. Thought must be how you through hike. And actually, I just totally lied. I did the AT section after I did the long trail, but in the same Hawaiian shirt. Anyways, on the long trail, these college kids that I'd kind of been leapfrogging with for a couple of days, they were like, yeah, like when we first saw you, we like didn't really think you were like for real, like with the outfit. And I was like, that's fucking rude. And I am for real, I think. And then my trail name was Margaritaville.
Yeah.
Because of the Hawaiian shirt.
Such a good one.
Yeah, thanks.
Did they give it to you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Oh, I was into it. They were cool. They were funny.
Good.
Yeah.
You really proved them wrong too.
Honestly,
because you are serious. You're super serious.
Yeah, I'm so serious, but in like a fun, cool way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to... what were you going to say?
Let's say, how'd you get Candy Mama?
Oh, right. Yeah. So during the Appalachian Trail through hike of 2019, where I successfully went from Georgia to Maine in 5 months and 10 days, I got the trail name like first week because I ate so much candy and I mommed everyone. I don't do that anymore. I don't care. If you're going to get Lyme's disease, it's not my problem. If you're not eating or drinking, like, come on, you're like so old. You should be able to do that. I was worried about my friends all the time, which is like kind of endearing, but also super annoying. I hate when people mom me. Like, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Worry about yourself. So I don't mom anyone, but I still go by mama. And I ate so much candy on my through hike that I had 6 cavities when I went to the dentist for my bi-yearly checkup. And they said, you got to stop with the airheads, like right now. You got to eat the chocolate. It melts off your teeth. You got to stop the airheads. I was like, fine, geez, don't yell at me. They were screaming. It was not professional.
Yeah, I bet it wasn't. It sounds like there was a throwdown.
Yeah, they were wagging their finger at me too. Would you like to get into some ultra news? Maybe updates? Yeah. I don't have a lot of news myself because I saw you had a bunch, but I do have some like little Terra adventure updates.
Ooh, okay. Let's do our adventures and then we'll do ultra news?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, great.
You want to start?
Go ahead. You can start. Tell us all about an adventure.
Yeah, so last week I was in Mountain City, Tennessee / Damascus, which is on the Appalachian Trail. And I was staying at Warren Doyle's folk school with old Rasky. And we put on a women's retreat. And that was so much fun. We had some ladies come out from all over the East Coast. We had one woman from Illinois, Boise. We had somebody, I think Victoria was from Boise. And they did express that they listened to the podcast. So that was so fun. It was so fun to like listen to them talking about like their favorite episodes. I was like, wow, people actually listen. They actually listen to us. And they were so cute, so excited to go on trail runs. And we just had the best time. We made friendship bracelets. We wore glitter. We contra danced at Warren Doyle's Contra Dance. And then some of us went to Trail Days, which is a festival for thru hikers of the Appalachian Trail. Really, anyone who's an enthusiast of the Appalachian Trail, section hikers, day hikers, just regular old people. Like, it's so fun. It's such a good atmosphere. But I just want to shout out those women since a lot of them listen to this podcast. But shout out to Lindsay, Allie, Olivia. Olivia was, a very quiet troublemaker. Olivia, I know you're listening. And Julie, there was another Tara, never met another Tara before. Megan, Chloe, Elizabeth, Kim, Molly, Victoria, Nicola, Miley, Kara, and Amy. Oh, they were so great. And then Emily was there as well. She was just doing some media stuff. But it was so much fun. And it was like great to be back in that community of like thru hikers at Trail Days. It was good for my soul. And then I flew back yesterday and got some terrible news, which we're not going to talk about. But I'm so ready to laugh today about a fun story. So get ready. Arlee, do you have a recent adventure you want to share with us? I called you on Sunday and you were about to go run in the rain for a lot of miles.
A classic. What's Arlee gonna do? Probably run in the rain. Probably have soaking wet feet because that's my favorite thing to do. Why would you run with dry feet? Couldn't tell ya. Yeah, Saturday was quite the adventure, kind of, sort of. My friend and I were like, okay, well, like all these people keep talking about running the access roads at ski resorts. I was like, dude, let's get into it. I'm trying to experience this like vert kingdom that everyone's talking about before the mountains like really open up. And so we went to Smugs and hiked all the way from the bottom base lodge on the lower mountain to the top of Madonna. It was great. It was soggy. It was great hiking. Fantastic, whatever. We got on the long trail for like 0.2 maybe. It was a disaster. There was so much debris. Oh my god.
No.
It was crazy.
Oh no.
It'll get better.
Oh no.
And then we were like, okay, well, like let's go down and we'll do another lap up the lower mountain. And it was so wet and soggy and steep and like scary going down. Well, I was scared because I'm always nervous going down, but especially on stuff like that. And it was just such a mess, but we did it. Wasn't that many miles, but we were out there for a little over 3 hours.
Whoa.
And, it was a good time. Would go back. I think I got expelled a lot of negativity and now I feel good about the experience.
Oh my gosh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I feel like never mind. Classic Vermont. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, classic Vermont. Yeah. I did really think like I didn't really do any planning before this run, as is pretty typical. And I was like, oh, these access roads, like the vert's just gonna like stack up, and like it didn't really. We got a good amount, but like not a ton. But you know what? This weekend, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. What other mountain are you gonna go up and maybe cry a little bit and then go down and then go all the way back up and then back down and then rain and then lightning and then mud out of nowhere will be right under your feet. Classic Vermont.
Welcome to the Northeast.
I love the Northeast,
We love
by the
to
way.
hate it here.
Yeah. It's a defining characteristic for anyone who lives there.
Yeah.
I've only spent like 2 weeks, I think, last year in Vermont, and it was, a defining part. It is a defining part of my like character. Like I am a Vermont Northeastern runner. That's me.
You love it here.
I do, but I only love it when it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, let's hop into some ultra news here. I'm gonna kind of run through some highlights from the last couple weeks in our,
Mhm.
world of sport.
Mm.
So our last episode was pre-Cocodona, where we kind of made some predictions and kind of like shot the breeze a little bit about it. And now it's happened, and we have to discuss it a little
Mhm.
bit.
Mhm.
Rachel Entrekin won the women's race for the second time, breaking her own course record by more than 7 hours, finishing in 4th place overall.
Yeah.
She just looked to be like, you were out there, I was watching. She looked to be like such a freaking positive light. She was like, why would I be a buzzkill? And I was like, oh my God, you're right. Why would I be a buzzkill? I love that. You're right, Rachel. Why would I?
Looking at a race as like, buzz, we're all buzzed a little bit. Like, I love that. She doesn't want to kill the vibe of like a really, really,
Yeah.
really long race.
Yeah. Dan Green, he went on the men's side, and he also broke the course record, but by like an hour-ish, I think. And both runners, kind of in some of their reflections that they've shared on social media, have really emphasized the importance of good friends and crews in ultras, especially in really big long ones like Cocodona. And I think that's just such a beautiful, lovely thing that so many people talk about, how important the people are in these races and these experiences. And I just love hearing about it every time. Warms my little heart. The conditions were brutal, and it truly looked more like the Northeast than the Southwest. So
Absolutely. It was rough for
hats
them.
off to all of them out there.
Yeah, and I mean, crazy. They broke the course records in those conditions.
Yeah.
Like,
Incredible.
are you kidding me? Get out of town, Rachel and Dan. Get out. Leave.
No, but we want to see more of you, Rachel.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, we want to see like a lot more everywhere all the time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So maybe I'll send this to Rachel, this episode, but like we really connected a lot.
Oh my God.
I feel like we all would be best friends. She is so funny, so chill, like whatever. I'm just like,
oh my God,
hanging out in Arizona, running way too long, and just like
the attitude,
she's
dog.
So cool. And so we've been planning a soft rock. If I don't get into hard rock, we were planning like a soft rock to do together. I'm so excited.
Oh,
I'm
fun.
so excited. She's so cool. We love Rachel. I got to see Dan Green do his stuff, and like with his crew. His crew is awesome, and they're like big Dan Green fans. Friends first, family, then fans. They're like so about Dan. And Dan was just like also chilling, like, whatever, dude. I'm just running this race. He like he had a good sense of humor himself. It was really cool to be there. I'm so glad I went, and I'm so glad I met Rachel. That is a highlight for me. We hugged.
Yeah. Oh, that's incredible.
It filled me with so much power.
I bet it did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right into the veins.
We also have Megan Eckert breaking Camille Herron's 6-day running record by 43 miles. This girl ran 603.155 miles in 6 days, which is freaking nuts. Let's go. That's incredible.
Yeah. I'm trying to look it up right now because I think she was so close. Excuse me. She was close to getting the like US record.
She missed it by like 3 or 4 miles.
Was it 3 or 4 miles? That's incredible.
I think it was really close. Yeah, it was incredible.
She's a Santa Fe teacher. So I'm sure you would connect with that. Oh, yeah, she's a cross-country track coach. Freaking women, dude. Freaking
so
women.
Good.
I love them.
And like, we're just going to keep highlighting women in the rest of these updates.
Yeah.
So at Transvolcania, the European women swept the podium, and Anne-Lise Rousset-Serget won. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to skip right on down to talking about the Snowdonia 100K, where Stephanie Case won.
Oh
and this woman, she won. She did not have an elite bib. She started, I believe, in wave 3.
What?
And she stopped to breastfeed at multiple aid stations.
No
And
way.
she won the race. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely stunning.
Yeah. Yeah, you saw
Yeah.
that picture of her eating the watermelon and also
Uh-huh.
breastfeeding? Like,
Yeah.
multitasking. That is
Yeah.
I don't have words for it, but
It's
it's
incredible.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
gonna be at Hard Rock.
Good.
Yeah. I'm so
Good.
excited.
And then my last piece of ultra news is at Ultra Trail Australia, fan favorite and my favorite, Lucy Bartholomew, went
Mhm.
out there and tried her freaking best, just like she always does.
Mhm.
And she got a sweet, sweet 11th place finish in the 100K race. And I just think she's a rock star.
Yeah, she's got passion, she's got excitement,
Yeah.
she's got stoke, she's so humble, sweet woman.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Those are great updates. I'm so stoked right now.
Yeah. Yeah. What a time to be running.
Yeah. Also, sorry, Cold Dog, big shout out to Ultra for sponsoring this episode. We love y'all so much. Arlie, should we just like talk about ultras? What's your favorite ultra shoe right
Oh my
now
God.
in the
We should.
Northeast?
So I've been running in the Temps. No,
Mm.
not the Temps. Oh my goodness. Been running in a
Olympus?
road shoe,
Oh,
and I've been running
Torin.
in the Torin. Thank you. I knew it was a T. It's been a long day, my dear friends. I've been running in the Torins, which I absolutely love. I actually need to get a new pair out of the basement because I think it's time to replace.
Mm-hmm.
And also the Olympus.
Mm-hmm.
And the Olympus are stunning. Like they have been rocking it on this wet, sloppy, rocky, whatever it is, New England terrain. And I also wore them in the Grand Canyon, which was the opposite. It was dry and like reasonably smooth. And they were incredible. Absolutely incredible.
So good.
Huge fan.
I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of Olympus as well. It's my favorite shoe right now. I think it's so well made. I'm riding in it a lot. And it's like not the lightest. I wouldn't race in it, but I do a lot of my training runs in it. So thanks,
Nice.
Ultra. Thanks, Cold Dog. Love you so much.
Yeah. Big shout out.
Should we get into
All right.
story time? This is going to be a little different, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, let's jump into the story. This week's story is a little different, and y'all will be quick to understand why once I kind of get into the telling of it all. First, I'm going to go ahead and set the scene, set up the background information. So, our DNFers this week are Julian Vicente and Mylon Olila. They are French, or not French, excuse me. They are Canadian. And they're bringing us a story from an FKT attempt in the Okanagan Highlands Trail in Canada. I looked at this on the map, and I believe it's a bit southwest of Banff National Park in Western Canada, kind of in the like BC, British Columbia area. The route is about 140 kilometers or 87 miles through mountainous British Columbia backcountry terrain, and it could be referred to as one of the sickest lines you could possibly draw on a map. Direct quote, has been referred to in that way. So Julian and Mylon have some choice names for this effort that it will save until the end to share. It's a little something to look forward to. That being said, I would like to start this story by saying that while some jokes will be made throughout this episode, the story that I'm going to tell, Julian and Mylon's recount of their time on the Okanagan Highlands Trail, is serious, and it presents a truly dangerous situation for the runners. Thankfully, both runners are okay, and nothing horrendous happened to them in any way, shape, or form. But it is important that we all learn from this story so that we may all continue to be safe and alive while playing the mountains.
Oh my gosh,
and
I
return
love to
home.
be alive in the mountains.
Yeah, same. So to give a little bit more context for this trail, I'm going to read the description that comes from the FKT website. It says the Okanagan Highlands Trail, or the OHT, runs from Coldstream to Chute Lake through Okanagan Backcountry. It is approximately 130 kilometers, every GPS is different, in length. The length and difficulty of this route make it a unique challenge in the Okanagan region. It requires backcountry experience, survival gear, and navigation ability. The route includes the well-maintained High Rim Trail from Coldstream to Kelowna, where it crosses Highway 33 and ends at Mission Creek.
Hmm.
The OHT requires a crossing of Mission Creek with no bridge and continues to Hydraulic Lake. From Hydraulic Lake, the trail climbs the east side of Little White Mountain, which stands at 2,200 meters and some number of feet, and traverses a wide range with multiple climbs that take you up to 2,000 meters before ultimately descending to Chute Lake. This trail requires expert level backcountry experience and should only be attempted in good weather conditions. Reconnaissance of all sections of trail is highly recommended before attempting the full route. The Mission Creek crossing can be dangerous in certain conditions. The trail from Coldstream to Little White Mountain is well marked and maintained, but becomes challenging in alpine sections. The section from Little White Mountain to Chute Lake is unmaintained, poorly marked, and should not be attempted in snow or bad weather. Yeah. All right. Well, so Julian and Mylon have had an incredible season of running in the Okanagan Valley, and they decide they want to be the first to attempt the Okanagan Highlands Trail as a run. It's previously been done as a multi-day trek, but they couldn't find any record or trip reports or anything of somebody trying to run or the whole thing or any kind of like FKT beta on the route. Both of these runners are well seasoned at spending time in the backcountry, running far ultra distances. Both are meticulous planners and have experience navigating. They spend so much time planning before they set off on this grand adventure on October 22nd, 2022. You might be thinking, late season much? Well, it appeared there was a good weather window, so the pair of them went for it. And they began their effort on Friday night with hopes of finishing in 24 hours.
Whoa.
So finishing by Saturday night
Wow.
was their plan, was their goal. They drive to the trailhead Friday evening, and both Mylon and Julian are totally stoked, giddy with excitement, which is just a taste of the positivity that these two emit throughout every step of this run. And they have absolutely no idea what is ahead of them. They so easily ignored the snow they could see on the mountains from the road. Any thoughts on the start to this adventure?
I feel like I've conveniently ignored a lot of things before I start something. Like, oh, yeah, those clouds look so dark. It's fine. It'll be okay. We'll be fine. It's fine. Oh, the trail it's so snowy up there. That's fine. Like I went up the Bigelows in May while it was so snowy, and I post-holed for 16 miles. It was not fun. So I feel them. Like it's like it happens for sure. You can just like conveniently not see things because you kind of want to go for it, right?
Yeah. So the first 62 kilometers or 39-ish miles went swimmingly, mostly. The pair was running through ankle-deep snow. They followed a bear for several minutes down the trail, and they waded across a freezing cold Mission Creek at 5 a.m. It was at this river crossing that Mylon insisted on crossing barefoot and holding his speed goats above his head. So basically, it was one hell of a first night, and saying it went swimmingly might have been an overstatement. Personally, I prefer to just go shoe first in the water.
Can you give us your reason why?
I don't like taking my shoes and socks off and putting them back on. What a waste of time.
Yeah, it takes so long.
Whatever, my feet are wet all the time anyway. It just doesn't matter.
Maybe that's because you live in Vermont, though.
Yeah, it gives me something to think about. Also, it's like a real hardcore move to just trudge straight through. It really alarms bystanders.
Not the speed goats over the head.
Those are boats. They're meant to be in the water.
I think they're actually making a pair that can float on top of water. I
Oh
think you
my
can like step on water.
god.
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh, wow, I gotta get my hands on a pair of those bad
they make
boys.
what it is they make the surface area just really big on the shoe. So it's like
Yeah, got
it's kind of like,
it.
the size of a sombrero.
Oh, but for your feet.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
great.
solely
Great,
so
great.
you can cross water crossings
Yeah.
without getting your
So
feet wet.
there'll be, like, probably I'm envisioning, like, a mandatory shoe change at the, Western States River crossing, right?
Yes, yeah, get your
Yeah.
boats on.
No more raft.
Your speed
Boats
boats.
only.
Speed boats, not speed boats. Get those
Alright,
suckers
we're
on.
getting back to the story, buddy. So, Mylon goes on to describe the next part of this run as a disaster, where they were armed with an out-of-date GPX file and one hell of an optimistic mindset.
Oh, hell yeah.
This optimistic mindset and pervasive sense of positivity stuck with the pair throughout the whole adventure. We first heard about it in the car on the way there, and it's still with them, and it's pervasive throughout.
Wow.
This is when they headed, it was during this section, when they headed into the unknown section of the route. The amount of snow and schwacking, which is bushwhacking, if you don't know cool slang, a real power combo of conditions, slowed their approach to the alpine section of the route. The closer they got to the alpine section, the deeper the snow got. Now they're knee deep, baby.
Oh.
Yeah, cue the Zac Brown Band song. Except they're not on a beach. The trail is increasingly hard to see, and the pair is working it and pushing it with the goal of clearing the summit of Little White Mountain before dark.
Yeah.
So I'm going to update the timeline for us here.
Mm-hmm.
The pair, Mylon and Julian, are about 24 hours in.
Oh, wow.
Which is their original goal. And they still have about 40K left, which 40K is 24, 25 miles.
Yeah.
Like that. With the clock ticking ever farther past their goal time, the pair is continuing to ration their food and supplies between each other with their, minds very focused on the time passing.
Mm-hmm.
Tara, what are you thinking right now?
Well, I don't know what I'm thinking. I think I've been in this situation before where it's like, wow, I heavily underestimated how much food I needed. Like today's run, I should have brought so much more water. I didn't. And it happens to all of us, but they are in what sounds like a very rural area. I could imagine it's a little more serious than Horse Gulch and Durango, where you can, like, in a mile be in a house somewhere. So I'd imagine it's a little more concerning than that.
Seems to be.
How do you feel about it? How do you feel about where that? Where it ends up, but like, how do you feel about what's going on?
If I was them, I'd probably be like, shit.
Damn it.
Nothing to do but keep trucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably be a little snappy with my partners.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's possible that I'd be a little snappy.
Yeah. Were you snappy on your last trek this weekend?
No. Never with Maya.
Yeah, never with Maya.
I was negative at times, but
wait, do you remember when you were pacing me? It was in Maine. We were coming into the aid area or the crew area. It was at night. I was not doing okay. And you
were not.
you were singing a song about trucks.
Oh, 18 Wheels on a Big Rig. Freaking classic,
and
dude.
Then I fell and I just started crying. And I think that I was a little snappy. So I'm sorry. Just,
it's all right.
It's a little in the past, but I'm sorry.
It's fine. I'll send you the song. You can listen to it again later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you send me a recording?
On our Patreon.
But of you singing it.
Oh, gladly.
Oh,
Yeah, gladly.
maybe
I'll work on the recorder also.
I'll make an
Yeah, I've got one
Instagram
in my office.
post. I'll make an
Oh,
Instagram post with that song.
perfect. Yeah.
Do you have pictures from them? I forgot to ask.
Yes.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
God.
they're in the email somewhere,
Okay.
but
Oh,
I'll send
thank
them
God.
to you.
Excited.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. So story, we're getting back into it.
Okay. Yeah. So, Mylon and Julian celebrated when they successfully summited Little White Mountain. They were super pumped to have not fallen off of the sheer cliff faces.
So good.
And this summit was a real high point for both of them. It afforded them a gorgeous view where they were able to see where they had started from 100 kilometers away.
Wow.
And, they could just see the whole valley. They got there before sunset. It was gorgeous. It was incredible. The view and the summit and like the accomplishment of the summit filled Mylon with a sense of doing something huge and new, like that feeling that you get on an adventure where you're like, wow, like we're really out here, like we're doing it, like this is incredible.
Yes.
And so from this point forward, there was about 40K left. And that 40K followed a broad ridge that kind of starts in the alpine zone and kind of descends into a subalpine terrain. Like how the trail is descending, the weather and the trail markings are also continuing to descend. And by descend, I mean decline.
As they do.
Eventually, the trail markings end altogether.
Oh, no.
And this is where their optimistic mindset
Oh,
really
no.
comes in.
Oh,
The duo
no.
continues to hope and believe that the trail markings are just going to reappear
Oh.
in the forested subalpine section. Well, they got to the forested subalpine section, and the trail markings did not reappear.
Oh.
Mylon describes the subalpine section as an unmaintained and unmarked hellscape of fallen trees and dense brush.
Oh. Oh.
During their time in this subalpine section, they ticked off a 59-minute mile.
Oh my
which sounds
gosh.
like my version of hell, personally.
That's a Mahusik or Mahusik
Yeah.
notch mile. That's wild.
Yeah, it is. So, Tara, how would you feel after clicking by a 59-minute mile?
I'd be pissed. I'd be so angry. I think Mahusik Notch, if you aren't familiar, it's the hardest mile on the AT. It takes people a very long time. Like, if I didn't know that was coming, I would be absolutely pissed. 59, to put that in context, 59-minute mile. Like, people walk at 15 on flats at 15 miles per hour. Not 15 miles per hour. Oh, goodness. 15-minute miles. So they're I'm guessing they're bouldering up a cliff face.
Hard saying not knowing. There was snow. There was navigation required. See,
Dude,
there was a lot going on for these two.
My heart is like I'm getting anxiety from this. Like my heart's beating because I have been there and it's terrifying.
Hold on. Banana is eating off the counter and I need to yell at her, Banana! You are in the living room! She's been snacking.
Banana!
Sorry, I do want to interrupt you and
I saw
you want to just start screaming.
I saw your eyes looking at something.
There was cheese left over.
Banana eats cheese?
Eats whatever's on the counter.
Banana.
Okay. So, as these two continue into Saturday night, the temperatures continue to drop, and Mylon and Julian continue to get colder and colder. The slow-moving descent, hence the 59-minute mile, has them worried about hypothermia, and they are both keenly aware that their mental states are declining as well due to lack of sleep and exhaustion. Mylon's GPS watch battery is getting lower and lower, and the battery banks that they brought with them got zapped straight to useless by the cold.
Oh.
Mylon's phone dies next. They
Oh.
still have their headlamps, but they have like used the batteries and the cold and stuff, so they're on their final set. This dynamic duo is down to a single watch for navigation, and it's not really like this GPX file is helping them anyways. They are alone in this dark, freezing forest with wolves howling all around them.
Oh, I forgot about wolves.
Yeah, and in this place in Canada, they can hear the wolves howling, so it's, deeply comforting. Not the opposite of that. Naturally, Mylon and Julian are just like, when are we going to magically emerge out of this hellscape of a trail and the dangerous situation? And then footprints. They start following footprints.
Oh my gosh.
Hope has appeared.
Oh my gosh.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I was really anxious like 3 seconds ago, and now I feel like there's hope. Footprints are huge. Like, I mean, ideally they're from humans. So this is hope. I'm excited. I'm hopeful for them. I mean, I know they live because they sent us a story, but
They do live.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid.
Yeah, well,
Are we
false
sure?
alarm.
Are we sure it's not wolves with like human like footprints or shoes that are like leading them to their den?
You ready to hear?
Yes, yes. I
Okay,
hope it's
okay.
wolves with human feet.
It was a false alarm. They were following their own footprints.
Oh no!
And they are still stuck in this hellscape.
Oh
This
my gosh!
is what the pair says. This moment is their rock bottom.
Oh my gosh!
And now they're beginning to wonder, like, are we even capable of good decision making at this point? The pair decides to take a new approach. They begin schwacking and taking a directional bearing every 5 to 10 minutes. They make this choice because the trail is non-existent anyways, so it's not like they were following one to begin with. And while they're schwacking, they discuss their options. Should they keep moving to stay warm but risk getting more lost? Do they bivvy and call for a rescue with their satellite device? A rescue would probably take 12 hours. Can we survive for that long in these conditions? Can we make a fire before we get too cold from not moving that much? Should we bivvy together for more body heat? They're talking through all these different problem-solving solutions, trying to figure out what they think is the best choice. So they choose to keep moving. And in reflecting on this experience, Mylon says that he thinks their problem-solving and collaboration was one of their biggest strengths of their team, in addition to their friendship. And it was clear in these moments that all these skills they had in their back pocket and had built up over the time that they've been runners really came in handy, along with their unwavering positivity. In these moments, Mylon is really beginning to think about his 1-year-old daughter at home.
Oh.
Thinking of her gave him a fresh round of determination and focus to get the hell out of there alive.
Yeah.
Both Mylon and Julian are keenly aware that at this point in their adventure or ordeal, your choice of words, there is zero margin for error and that they are truly in a really dangerous situation. So they're continuing on in the night in this hellscape, non-existent snow trail situation.
Wolves.
And they start to realize, yeah, don't forget the wolves, that if they tilt their headlamps like just the right way at like this one angle, that there's a slight trail-like depression in the snow.
Okay.
And they're like, are we seeing things? Or do we think that like maybe, because like, like when there's a trail underneath the snow, sometimes you can kind of like tell.
Yeah.
And oh my God, more hope and energy. They get to an unknown Forest Service road.
What?
OMFG, let's freaking go.
Oh my gosh, thank
They
goodness.
pop out magically, finally, to an unknown Forest Service road. Anything is better than a non-existent snow trail situation.
Yes.
And now they're hearing shouting.
What?
And their friend John appears.
No way! John!
Yeah,
Oh my
John.
gosh, I'm almost gonna
John.
cry.
Yeah, we're getting close to the end here.
Oh my gosh.
So it turns out that John was tracking their satellite device and decided to initiate a rescue, a solo rescue, when it looked like they were beginning to veer off trail. So John walked into the backcountry to find these two.
Oh.
He also heard wolves howling all around him, and in the middle of the night, after noticing that something might be up. It's unknown if John cried or not during the solo part of this rescue mission when he was hearing wolves and was alone in the middle of the night. That's we don't need to know those details. It's between John and God, really. um, so by the time John finds these two, it's 3 a.m. and he finds them and he opens his backpack and hands out donuts and hot tea.
Oh, John.
Yeah, not all heroes wear capes, am I right?
Who is this guy? I need him in my
A
life.
hero.
John. Oh.
And in a quick 90 minutes, they're back at John's car and fully to safety.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
So both Mylon and Julian had felt physically really good throughout the whole effort. But in the final 5K back to John's car, or the piece of that 90 minutes that was a 5K, and it kind of started to, like, their bodies started to feel the toll of what had been happening. They started to feel aches and pains.
Yeah.
When they get to John's car, Mylon, I'm sure both of them do, but Mylon particularly takes his shoes and socks off. And they were full of blood and ice and big fat blister holes in his
What
heels that
the?
he just hadn't felt
Oh
the
my
whole time.
gosh.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Mylon and Julian started this adventure super prepared. They had GPX maps on both of their phones and their watches. They had a satellite device to communicate with people outside. They had ample food, extra batteries. They planned a lot ahead of time, and they tried their best to plan for the worst.
Mm.
What questions do you have before we kind of get to their takeaways and learnings from this experience?
Where did they meet John? Who is John? We need more information on him. I need to become his friend. Could you imagine? He's a hero. He's an absolute hero.
He's a hero.
He
Yes,
saved their
he is.
lives.
He did.
I mean, it's clear, like, we have friends who do not prepare well. And so, like, just this story goes to show, like, you can prepare as much as you want and still run into a situation, this dangerous situation. Imagine if they didn't have a GPS tracker, like, John couldn't
Right.
locate them.
Yeah.
And some of
Yeah.
our friends don't carry GPS trackers. It's so important to carry a GPS tracker. I mean, I have statements. I don't have any questions. I don't know if there's, I think there is things, I can think of things I could have done better, but, like, honestly, like, that's so scary. This is a great story. I was
Yeah.
super invested.
Yeah. So their takeaways from this effort are to always bring the 10 essentials and then some into the backcountry.
Mm-hmm.
To never go into the backcountry alone, and to always share your trip plan and your route with at least one person,
Mm-hmm.
a reliable person.
Mm-hmm.
They would do more trail recon
Mm-hmm.
and pay more attention to the weather.
Mm-hmm.
They would also bring a paper map and a compass to fall back on
Yes.
if all else fails. Yeah. Because, like, they brought the battery banks, and the cold just, like, totally zapped them right into being useless.
Yeah.
So, like, they were prepared to recharge things to be able to use their digital maps, and, like, that went out the window,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So those are Julian and Mylon's takeaways from this effort. Do you have any other takeaways or kind of like learnings or things that come to mind in hearing the story
No, I
before
think
we get to the final nugget?
I think they had great takeaways. I was gonna say the same things, like do trail recon, um, like look at the weather. Definitely do the trail recon about with that one section that they completely got lost on. Um,
Mhm.
I think they did. It sounds like they did almost everything right except for the trail recon and the weather peeping. So I don't really have any notes there. I have been there and the feelings. I think they're incredibly strong for how they got through this. Like I've been through this similar situation, but in like a less like a very low stakes format. It was
Mhm.
no concerns of death. They
Mhm.
it sounds like they kept their heads. I've also been in that situation where you're like everything stops hurting and your body goes into survival mode and you're just like you don't feel anything, but like as soon as you're in safety, it's like, wow, I am exhausted, my body hurts. It's a wild sensation that our bodies do.
Yeah.
But yeah, would you do anything better? I think they covered all the bases.
I think they covered it. I kind of like am pondering like, is there a time that I would have been like, maybe we should turn around?
Mm,
But as I'm thinking about that, like I don't know. I think
yeah.
that's really hard to tell because like, okay, it took us forever to get to the top of Little White Mountain, but like it should get better when we're below the Alpine zone.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if I would have turned around. I think maybe that's something to think of ahead of time because in the moment, I think it would be too hard to like make that choice.
Yeah, it's like because
Yeah.
like you're risking like you have they did 100K before that.
Yeah.
So like they would
Yeah.
have to go back. They have 40K left, so they would have to like do double the distance. And so I'm
Which
sure
feels not like the right choice.
yeah, there's oh man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think they made great choices given the situation
Yeah.
they were in.
What an epic
Um,
story.
yeah. Yeah. Are you ready for the last little nugget?
Yes.
So at the beginning, I said that these two had some choice words for their adventure that I would save till the end. And their choice names for this effort are Did Not Freeze to Death in the Mountains, or more simply put, Did Not Die. Good old DND. Um, both of these runners feel very aware of their luck, preparation, and experience when they are reflecting on this Okanagan Highlands Trail
Mhm,
effort. They have not reattempted the route yet,
mm,
but likely will one day.
mhm. Okay.
Mhm.
Would they go from the other direction and try to get like that hard stuff done with
Mm,
first?
that's a great
Because
question.
they know everything. Like doing that
Yeah.
with like a sound mine in the very beginning
Mhm.
would probably be a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
probably would be. Yeah.
Oh wow, Arlie, that was a wild ride. I was really into that story, super
Ah,
invested. I'm glad they're okay.
so glad they're okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, friendly reminder, just be safe. Safety first.
First.
Sorry to be a buzzkill. Sorry to be the safe and responsible counselor, but goodness gracious, people.
Bring your map and compass.
Especially when there's wolves present.
Always when there's wolves present. And cougars, for that matter.
Cougars? They had cougars too?
No, but there's cougars out there in the
Oh.
world, and they're scary.
Meese, moose, and bears, and oh my lord, bless.
Bless. Well, that's our story for
Oh,
today.
thank you so much for telling that. That was such a wild ride. I love those kinds of stories. That was
Yeah,
wild. I'm glad they're safe. Oh
me too.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, so glad.
Sorry guys, also I meant to say this, but sorry for this late upload. We're like in the throes of summer adventures, so it might be like this, but we're always going to upload some. I can't promise anything, I'm not going to promise anything, but we will try our best cuz we enjoy this just as much as y'all do. So I was going to find a review cuz we review or we talk about we what am I trying to say? We read. We read
A review.
we read a 5-star review. So I'm trying
Let's
to
hear
look for that.
one.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, so I'm going to read a review from Chief Areta. He actually introduced himself at Javelina. He's a avid listener of DNF Diaries. He's a sweet guy. He gave me a little gift at Javelina. He's a cool guy. But he says, 5 stars, exactly what I was expecting. I'm a big Tara Dower fan, and I'm excited she started this podcast. Her chemistry with Arlee is great as well. Funny and insightful, so relatable too, as a fellow ultra runner DNFer. I'm looking forward to next episode. Love that. Thank you.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah. So if you guys would like your review read, 5 stars only. But get your reviews in, guys. Like, review our podcast. It does help us a lot. Even if you don't like it. Like, even though I joke, like, if you don't
Make
like
something
it.
up.
Arlee, what do you have going on this week?
My dad's coming
No way.
tomorrow.
Oh my gosh,
Chuck.
Oh,
Yeah, in the
Chuck.
house. Yeah, this is his bi-weekly shout out on the podcast.
Oh my gosh. We should have waited to
Yeah.
have Chuck be our audience in the podcast. He loves DNF Diaries.
He would freak out. Maybe another time.
Yeah,
I'll see him again this summer.
big shout out to Chuck.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It is. And doing some running this weekend. Apparently we're gonna get a big storm Friday, Saturday, so see what happens.
Pretty typical.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to Western States training camp, so I'll have plenty of stories for you when I get back. That's exciting. Arlee,
oh my God.
What's your social media?
You can find me at a.hisk on Instagram.
And you can find us at DNF _ diaries. I don't know which one it is, but it's DNF Diaries. I'm going to post some photos from this story with that song we were talking about. So be looking out for that. And yeah, I'm Tara.Dower on Instagram if you want to hang out there. Yeah, that's it. Arlee, do you have anything else?
That's all I got today.
Oh, such a good episode. Thank you, Ultra, for sponsoring. And thank you for bringing to light this wild story. I think everyone needs a good reminder, especially as summer's approaching. We're kind of in this weird transitional period. So just realize even in the summer, there can be serious situations. So thank you so much for the reminder, Arlee.
Of course.
All right. That's it.
Ta-ta for now.
Ta-ta. Bye.
Bye.